Good morning, everybody. I'm Richard Olberger, clinical psychology expert and podcast host, and I'm here with Yuval Ben-Nun, COO of PPC Winner. Thank you. We'll give him more titles later on. Feel free to promote him, challenge him as you will throughout this live chat. And I am the host of the Richard Listens podcast, as well as private practice psychologist, coming to you throughout this quarantine. We are on episode 15. 14, don't rush ahead, but 14, we have been with you. We're in there in the trenches with you throughout the quarantine and beyond, or whatever incarnation we're looking at for Q4. But we know how important it is emotionally in business, not just to be an optimist, but to be a pragmatist, to think ahead, have a plan. So today's conversation with Yuval is going to focus on having a plan, looking ahead to Q4 and planning to include the holidays and how to plan for that and adjust as we come into August and take a look at the last quarter of the year. Welcome, Mr. Yuval Ben-Nun. How are you doing today, besides having your dog trying to get into your office all day?
I'm doing fine. You keep forgetting that here it's night. You're in the morning, but I'm here, it's night.
You've got a lot more information to talk about when we have you on.
Yeah, and I got older. So, for me, 8, 10, it's already late at night.
So do you have your slippers on? You have your tea and slippers under the table?
I have tea and slippers under the table. And we had breakfast. We had dinner at 5 p.m. We're going to sleep soon.
There's a market out there for quarantine-based early bird dinners, I'm sure.
I just talked with some lady from here, and she got COVID-19, and she's young, maybe 35 or something like that, and she's locked at home, not doing, she cannot go out. Her husband and 3 kids, the minute they heard that they're negative and she's positive, they left. They went out to his parents. So she's all alone at home, walking around. She told me, I'm with a pajama all day long, working 15, 20 hours a day. I don't have anything to do. So it's changing people, the way they act and react. And she told me that in the last 8 years, this is the first time that she's having her apartment, her house for herself for the first time. So it's also a good thing.
That's right. There's a lot of changes going on and a lot of good ones, but the unpredictability is very hard for business owners and for people in general. How is that impacting their purchasing? Is it causing them to purchase more because they're home more? I know all of a sudden I became very interested in the garden. Even my podcast hosts are finishing up drywall before my podcast guests, before they come on the air. They've got fresh stucco on their hands. So, what are you noticing sales-wise and behavior-wise?
So we saw at the beginning of the crisis, we discussed this in the past, we saw that online sales jumped by hundreds of percent. We saw giants like Amazon changing the way they work, changing their guidelines, not allowing sellers to bring some items into their warehouses because the warehouses were overloaded and flooded. They recruited, I think, in the last 3 months, about 100,000 new people to help them sorting out. And also we can see that heading the last quarter, which is usually the strongest quarter in e-commerce, people are selling their 4 and 5 and 6 times, sometimes 10 times what they're selling the whole year. We see that Amazon started to limit the items that you can send to your warehouse or to your FBA, and basically the rules of the game is changing as we go, and we don't know exactly how it will change, but you need to prepare yourself, because as a seller and as a buyer, we see that things that we're ordering from China all of a sudden to Israel started to come fast. I think that because of the boats are empty or something like that. Things are coming really fast. But on the other hand, I know that at the peak of the crisis, things were stuck for months. So we don't know what will happen during the holiday season. And from my experience as a seller in the past, people during the holiday seasons, if they're ordering something on, I don't know, December 19, they're expecting it to be in December 21, the latest at home. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You know, they don't want it. On December 26th, it's already in old news. You don't need it. So I see that, you know, things will change. We see some new services rising up, like third parties, warehouses are starting to offer services, and a lot of sellers from all of the marketplaces and from Amazon especially are moving their goods over there, because Amazon are not allowing to send too many goods into Amazon warehouses as in the past, and also fining sellers. So there are a lot of changes that you need to read and follow up and understand what's going on there.
Wow, so a lot of adjustment. On the one hand, things could be speeding up, the products are available. You can have your supply back, you know, to your customer quickly in time for the holidays. And on the other hand, if there's another lockdown, right, it may be hard, and you need to find a new warehouse to access your goods from.
Yeah, I think that, you know, when I look into it, and that's the sense I'm getting here. For example, we have right now a very strong second wave. We're getting about 2,000 new people which are infected with COVID-19, which for the population here of 8 million, it's a lot. We didn't have it in the first wave. And they started to do some new restrictions here, closing the restaurants, but then they said they're closing it, and a few hours later, they gave up on it because the owners were, you know, started to protest. And we see here that I don't see it going. I think that we will learn to live with COVID-19. We'll learn to live with the corona, and people will need to adjust as we go. And heading the last quarter of the holiday season, it will be very challenging about how are you going to spend time? Are you going to spend it with your family? And if you're going to spend it with your family, whether you're buying presents in advance or you're sending them, everything, you know, everything became sensitive. I sat in a restaurant today for lunch, and people were around with masks, and someone would keep saying to the waiter, put your mask on, put your mask on. It's not right, you know, and you see people behind those masks. It's like, you know, it's like a movie from somewhere in the future, but it's here today.
Yeah, it is changing almost everything. And in fact, the topic you're talking about is entering the therapy room. I mean, the topics that I'm facing as a psychologist, couples, the things that are triggering people. Almost every couple has some different idea about what's safe. Can we go somewhere? You know, is it okay? How will the people behave when we get there? There's so many levels to predict and control that it keeps feeding, you know, for some people into this defeated loop of just stay home. And we know that just staying in the same four walls, even though it gives you this sense of I'm protected, you know, you're doing the moral thing by not spreading the virus, emotionally, very dangerous to just kind of keep yourself in the same walls without a sense of being able to expand or connect or do more. So I'm glad you highlighted that, and then how that impacts economic activity and behavior and people's willingness to spend and be free with letting go of money. A really, really complicated, you know, relationship. So how do we keep, you know, things open, excited? How do we keep forgiving our spouses that our gifts arrive 2 weeks late and not go into a panic and a depression? You know, that's really the major thing, right? How do we not repeat, you know, the world crisis of kind of 2008 or other times in history?
First, I think that the crisis, the economic crisis.
What's the magic bullet, Yuval? What's the magic?
The magic bullet?
Yeah.
I don't have a crystal ball yet. I'm sorry. We're looking here in two angles. You know, as PPC Winner, we're trying to help the Amazon sellers to be on top of their game. And one of the things is that they need to start and warm up their accounts. They start to put their ASINs, the items that they want to sell, and start to warm them up so they will be up and first when advertising them heading the holiday season. And as a buyer, or someone that's looking to how to spend his holidays and what to buy, people need, I think, to start and think a bit earlier and try and adjust maybe the presents that they're buying to the new environment that we have. We have a new world, or we have a whole new world. I myself feel, as we discussed this in the past, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people around us lost their jobs. Some of them got sick. A lot of people died, especially in the US. You have a lot of people that passed away. I think over 200,000 people, or I'm mistaken, something like that. But in the hundreds of thousands. And, I don't think there is a person that doesn't know someone that got infected, or maybe even someone that got really, really sick out of it and maybe died. So it influenced everyone. And I think it's part of, the psychology of the economy. There is a whole segment in economics that discuss human behavior. And I think that we're right now, we're in a part of a process of a change in human behavior. And we see that even here, when all restrictions went down and you could do whatever you want theoretically, all of a sudden, people didn't go out and started to spend money. They were keeping their money close to them because they felt like under stress, and that this horrific thing might come back, and we don't know what's going on. And we see a lot of people around us that lost their jobs, so maybe it might happen to us. So you need to be on. I was just informed that for the weekend, again, the government regretted what they announced, and now the seashores will be open for the next weekend. Now that's important. My wife sent it because we have a vacation there. I'm sorry for all the guys from LA that are locked at home. My apologies.
Yeah, we don't hear a lot of regret in our public announcements here, but that's very nice that there's empathetic leaders and they're connected to your ability to get to the beach.
It's not. I'm not sure it's empathetic. I think there are a lot of protests here, especially regarding the support in the SMBs, and you can see that they're starting to cave in, and they're not really regretting, but they're responding not in a smart way. We have, if it's dangerous and you wanted to close it, like the restaurant, then how come after a discussion with the restaurant owners, all of a sudden it's open? So either it's dangerous or not. And the seashores, now it's all of a sudden open because someone else has a leverage on someone and they opened it. So,
it's very complicated, the relationships between politics and economic decisions and trust, like you're speaking about, consumer trust in their decision makings. And there's a great book called The Speed of Trust by Franklin Covey, great business leader, family of business leaders in our country, who also wrote, it was either him or his son, Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So some of this is the ability to make tough decisions and stay with your plan and what your leadership team tells you as a successful action plan, and to commit to it. I know, even as a small business owner, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring consistent content of value and to reach our listeners and to let them know that we are there with them. We are going through this, and we may have just a few simple tools or strategies to help you get through your day a little bit better. We're trying to get very micro on all of this, because when there's so much out of control, we really need to look at what we can control. So for me, I feel very good about my purchasing is on Amazon, because I know, if you have a seller that is going to get it to you in a few days, and it can give you a sense of gratitude, whether it be, my reading list, which is certainly expanded into understanding concepts such as racism, social justice, business, a certain, dabbled into areas like we talked about. People are doing home improvements. So, you know, there's new areas and markets to tap into, you know, based on people being home more.
I think, you know, it was discussed a lot in the last few months, and we see the movement from the me movement from the we back into the me. You know, people were sharing, were hosting, were having workspaces shared, and now everybody are going back to be on their own, afraid to touch people. You know, I have to show you something. I was looking for it. A friend sent me this during the week. Do you see my screen now? So
Yes.
it's a paint of Walter Molino from 1962, and basically he said, this is the name of the painting here is Life in 2022. And this is what he imagined. So are we going there? You know, and then
Well,
the presents that you're buying should be only for yourself.
Well, that's right. Well, that's, you know, the great axiom of self-care, right? When you care for yourself, you really show care for your partner. So this will encourage everybody. I made me very excited last week when, since the wardrobe is mostly sweatpants around the house here, when 3 new pairs of sweatpants came in, you know, the family was very excited that my wife had invested in herself. So whatever you can do to love yourself right now, you know, if it's getting that fancy shave cream or soap, whatever it is, you know, it's little things that we can do to make ourselves feel better. Maybe there is a future where we need to wear more protective gear and screens. Maybe that is the direction schools are going, to try and create a safe environment. Who knows what our sporting events will look like? I certainly hope they won't be what they look like right now with cardboard cutouts in the stands. But you know, in the short run, you know, continuing to spend within your means, continuing to invest in, you know, in things that can make your life better and happier and more efficient, and using Amazon sellers to do that. You know, there's nothing wrong with spending as long as it's within your budget. And especially with the holidays planning, it sounds like you're saying plan ahead and expect anything, expect delays. So put it into your Q4 thoughts.
Yeah,
whether you be a business owner or a consumer.
Yeah, as a seller or as a buyer, you should plan ahead. You should try and enjoy what life they are giving us. You shouldn't be too, you know, too related to things, or because the future and also the present right now is very elusive. Things are changing as we go. You know, there are restrictions that going up and down. All of a sudden, there is a second wave. There is a third wave. Might be. It's always they're saying that the winter here will be much stronger with COVID-19 and the flu. And what I heard is, you know, I heard a lecture of Bill Gates. Not a lecture, it was actually some kind of someone was hosting him, and he, as maybe the richest person in the world or one of the richest person in the world, and he has all his free time and he's doing all of his time is invested right now in volunteering and trying to find solutions to things. And basically what he said there is that no one knows anything. Try and listen to the government, but they don't know what they're saying. So trust yourself and trust your instincts. This is what he said. You know, it was 45 minutes. He's an amazing person to listen to. It feels like you're talking with an adult and you're like a child, because he has so much insight about things. And that's very important. I think that at the end of the day, and I point no fingers to anyone, because also here the politicians, whoever is running the country, the prime minister and others, I might like him more or less, but regarding COVID-19, no one knows, and everybody are either acting or reacting and keep changing, because things are changing as we go and we don't have a solution for it yet. That's all. And this is what Bill Gates said. He said, trust yourself, trust your instincts, and do what's right for yourself.
You know, on some level, and that comes from, thank you for bringing that resource in, right? This is one of the smartest business owners on the earth right now, and visionaries, right? That on some level, right, you have to get to a place of being really comfortable within yourself, with your budget, with what you need, with what will make you happy, with that kind of cost benefit analysis. You know, and as I've discovered, there's a lot of stuff you can do in terms of, you know, invest in that quality water bottle, quality picnic basket, and go places that are free. Explore botanical gardens, explore beaches if you can maintain the social distance. If you can build it into your budget, supporting local businesses and their food. For me, you know, like I know the tendency to freeze up is big in my DNA, but you know, it's important, I think, to maintain the sense of community, that keeping those businesses afloat has a lot of meaning. So my purchase, you know, it feels important to me. It feels like we did something more than just, you know, buy a frozen yogurt. So, you know, I know we can't take care of everybody more than we take care of ourselves and our own budgets, but, you know, making those decisions conscious rather than reactive, like you said, is really the key tool, you know. So I feel Yuval is either tired or he's gotten a lot wiser in his new year since he's had his birthday. I want to thank again Yuval Ben-Nun and PPC Winner for organizing this series, for being a leader in creating this opportunity to reach out to you, people who are running small businesses who may have questions, who want to reach out and continue the dialogue. Please continue to do so in the comment box, whether you be on Facebook or Instagram. We're so grateful for all of you who are tuning in and listening from countries all around the world. That's the real power of this connection and technology, is the integration and the collaboration that's come from all of us. Yuval, please tell everyone how to stay in touch with you and follow up as we close out episode 14.
So I can be reached either on ppcwinner.com. When you first going into the website, you'll just get a pop-up that you can just schedule a meeting with me. That's the easiest way. You just have an access to my calendar and choose the date and the time that's comfortable for you, that you feel it feels right. And also you can reach me at yuval@ppcwinner.com. And that's it. And as always, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all of you for tuning in, for making time out of your day, whether you be driving or still working from home or awaiting exciting news like we are in Los Angeles about the fate of high school and collegiate sports over the rest of 2020. We hope you're looking forward to the start of... We
already know in effect that September 1st, we have only the youngest kids are going back to school. All the rest are staying home to learn through Zoom.
Yeah, we also are having a distance learning edict here in Los Angeles. So things are changing all the time, but we appreciate the perspective, the conversation, the continued conversation and dialogue to adjust and shift with the change and to stay in control of ourselves and in the moment, but also in a global conversation about how best to flow with the time. So I hope you all are being safe and enjoying your summers in whatever change capacity it is, and finding ways to reach out and express yourselves, you know, emotionally, and not hold it all in. If you or anyone you know or love need assistance, please feel free to reach out to me. And if I can't help you, I'll be sure to direct you in the best way I can. On Instagram @RichardListens, patreon.com/RichardListens for all my fabulous advanced content and podcast snippets. So thank you again on behalf of PPC Winner, episode 14. Get a look at your Q4s. Plan ahead for the holidays. I'm Richard Listens.
Out.
I'm out.